and welcome back, my dear esteemed guests and subscribers. Great to have you here again. And as always, I'm your one and only blockchain enthusiast, Liger here. And today we are going to be talking about the state of Ethereum, talking about the roadmap, the updates, obviously the congestion, the ecosystem as a whole, the dApps, the smart contracts, and the thing that you guys are mostly interested only in, which is the actual price. Now, Ethereum has been going through pretty rough last 2 months or so. Even during the December, there were really heavy congestion on the network, and it's been kind of consistently above 100 Gwei as of right now, which means that like doing a normal Ethereum transfer costs around $8 as of right now. Sending ERC 20 tokens, $13, and doing like Uniswap swaps is probably around $40. And this is not very affordable for a lot of normal people out there who have, you know, pretty small bags in general, and they have been, you know, very displeased by this congestion, and they've been waiting for a lot of updates and layer 2s to basically kick in. Then there is the other side of the ETH maximalists, which are kind of, you know, pushing this problem under the rug. I've talked to some of my peers like Elio Trades and BitBoy, and their sentiment really wasn't too concerning about the gas fees. They say they don't really matter, but I kind of disagree with them on that point specifically, and that's something I really want to touch upon first in this video, which is actually the congestion, which we need to talk about. So going into gas now, which is probably the best tracker for finding the average cost for gas. Remember that the way that Ethereum, a lot of smart contract blockchains are coded is that if you put too low gas amount, you're still going to be paying something even if the transaction fails. This is not something that obviously happens on Bitcoin, for instance. It's just going to be, you know, put backwards and backwards until there's going to be miners who are going to be including it in their block. So basically, you can have like a very, very low, you know, fee on your Bitcoin transfer. It might take 3 months to complete. But with Ethereum, there's always the problem that if you play too much around with the gas, you end up paying for nothing if the actual transaction fails. Now, these fees are not really the highest as they've been during this congestion period, but not just on Juice Day, we just had 900 Gwei fees, and this was absolutely abysmal fees. That probably meant that $100 per just an Ethereum transfer probably around those Gwei limits. So these were really, really hard times for a lot of people, and that's when the dump basically happened. It has slowed down a bit, but it still can go up to 200 Gwei per hour, and that is obviously for the fast. There's obviously the rapid one, which you don't really need to use. But obviously when you do Uniswap trades, there is a time limit, so you have to use fast. You can't use a slow 30-minute transfer because it will be just then out of the actual, you know, the trading window. Now, people are obviously talking about, oh, the layer 2 is happening and we got these ape updates, and that's something that we kind of have to touch upon first. Now, the Beacon Chain, which is the update 0 of this Ethereum 2.0 like phase, came out on December. I think it was pretty delayed. Initially, it was supposed to come out on 2020 summer, and that's not good news because it means that there's going to be a very long road for the next update. And the next update, by the way, is not going to have any impact on the gas fees, which sucks, by the way. So we might be talking about seeing, you know, the actual improvements on gas next year. Now, this is the problem here. The idea for the Ethereum to become like, as some people have been speculating, it go to 20k or 10k, and there's a lot of these problems in Ethereum because the developers and the miners have a different goal here, and the users too. So you got 3 sides here. Well, basically 4. You have the exchanges, you have the users, and then you have the miners and the coders, and all of them have their own agendas here, and some of them, like the miners, benefit from the high fees, and they don't benefit from like, low fees. So they don't want that necessarily. They don't want the layer 2s to succeed. They want to keep people on Ethereum. So there are a couple of parties who benefit from suppressing the price of Ethereum. So there's a lot of like artificial tampering coming from different places to suppress the price of Ethereum. Now, there's also an update about what people have been talking about, the APE 1559, and this is not going to be, as it's been said by Tim Bako, which works for Consensus, if I'm not, I think he works, he's one of the core developers there. Now, he is saying that's not going to be making your transactions cheaper. So, and this is, I think it says here, this is from Feb 6, it's going to be down the line, like what? 6-9 months, or unless I'm reading this out of context here. But, okay, next few weeks. So basically it's coming very soon, but it has no impact basically on the gas fees. So you are stuck in this system right now. According to Consensus website, the release date of 2.0, the phase 0 will launch in 2020. Obviously came on December. That was the phase 0. The phase 1 is going to be happening this year, allegedly, and phase 2 is going to be happening on 21. And that's phase 2 is when you're going to be having the proof of stake, which means that the TPS will go from 12 to 150. Now, that is 10 times faster, but is that enough actually to make the transactions good again? Because that means if all the transactions are going to be changed to have more transactions happening on Ethereum network, then the congestion is going to be happening again. So 150 TPS, question is it actually enough? Now, there's an interesting statistic here that daily transactions haven't really grown. So what is the actual growth of Ethereum network as a whole if the daily transactions are not going up? And this is the bull run. August was not the bull run, but it's been steadily around 1.2 million per day. And this shows us that during this bull run, there wasn't really a lot of transaction growth due to gas fees. And all of that traffic has basically gone into Binance Smart Chain. As you can see, the Binance Smart Chain, it's having like millions of transfers right now, transactions. And that is like 1.2, it's almost twice much as in Ethereum right now. And the fees are obviously around 14 cents. I don't know if the validators increase will going to be having an impact. So in Binance Smart Chain, there's 21 validators as of right now, but the max is 29. When 29 actually is fulfilled, will that have a faster effect on the network? I don't know. So that's going to be interesting, and I haven't been able to find an answer. But as you can see, throughout the January and February period, the amount of people coming into Binance Smart Chain just has exploded because people got tired of those high gas fees, and now they just moved into Binance Smart Chain because of that. So there's been a clear correlation here on the statistics that the user base has left Ethereum. And here's another study or a statistic. This is the Uniswap users. And during, in September, we had almost 50,000 people on Uniswap. And then we had almost that peak again on January, or the Feb 8th. And they managed to lose in 2 weeks half of the user base. In just 2 weeks, the half of the user base went away from Uniswap. How many of those were bots? Who knows? But a lot of the people are talking about in terms of the liquidity, the locked liquidity and all of those things. But ultimately, ecosystems are not valued by how many whales are participating on there. It's really about the individuals who bring in the value to those products. This is not a market for selling houses. This is an ecosystem for using your cash. There's not going to be a single successful money system. Imagine if PayPal was only used by whales and literally had 200 customers. Do you think that would be a good business model? I don't think so. Now, what people have to understand, there's an analogy to be here made which is back in the 90s, or is it early 2000s, you had the console war with GameCube, Xbox, PS2, and Dreamcast. A Dreamcast, contrary to popular belief, actually performed decently, but their problem was that they ran out of supply. Now, people didn't wait until the shops would have more stock of Dreamcasts. So what happened is they just decided to buy the PlayStation. So what does this mean with Ethereum? So people are not going to be staying idle for a year. We're talking about literally minimum probably a year for the phase 2 to happen. And who knows if there's going to be bugs and glitches there. So people are not going to be sitting idle by a year and miss basically the summer end of bull run by waiting for Ethereum to basically do something, which they're not going to be doing. So all of that, excess people are just going to be moving into these other blockchains, the Ethereum killers, which started out because of like a bit of a meme in the beginning, and back in the first wave of the smart contracts chains, you had a lot of those so-called Ethereum killers, and in some ways, like, they managed to at least provide like better chains which without so much congestion. But now, actually, ironically, Tron and EOS both did like two really bad decisions which have made them congested themselves, and they really fucked it up that way. And that's why those are not really candidates which I would say that are like really now competing with Ethereum. But I want to make a bit of a chess analogy here. And people, even if you don't understand chess, doesn't matter. So this is the Ethereum side, okay? And these are the pawns. These are the customers, the users of Ethereum Empire. The towers, are they called rooks? I think they're called rooks. So the rooks represent the miners. And then you have the queen. The queen in this case is the king dApp, and that is Uniswap. The king is the consensus. It's the developer team, which is extremely slow and is really unable to do anything because they are not able to just like pass all these patches and changes to the actual ecosystem, because the actual, they are in the mercy of the actual miners. And then these forces are like, they're kind of like aces and some other smart contracts in the space. But what has happened in the last 2 months is these are dead. They just left, these people left, okay? Like half of the, the squad left and bailed out from Ethereum, and they went here, which is like a combination of all these chains. But how many of these are buying a smart chain? So original Ethereum pawns, they switched the side because of the gas fees. Their voices were not concerned because the rooks are not going to move. The miners are not going to move. They don't need to. They're making money right now. They're getting the money from the whales, and they will not give a single fuck. As I said, like, there's no incentives for the miners to actually, reduce the gas fees. They don't win on that. So they want to prolong the Ethereum phase for a very long time and want to delay possibly the release of 2.0, because that's when they're not able to make money anymore through mining. And perhaps there is a, an actual, pact made by consensus. There might be some, individuals here in the consensus who are signing with the miners. It's not usually the case, but like Vitalik may be delaying the release of Ethereum because, there's some type of side deal made with the miners. Who knows? I wouldn't trust these Chinese mining farms and companies, really shady people. Especially any ASIC supporting chain is really always promoting for centralization after all. Now, the smart dApps, what they have been doing is some of them have leaped over. So they have turned into white horses here. They have changed chains. Some have left Ethereum, so they have become basically on the other side. You have a lot of migrators. Some of them did side chains. Some of them went over to Matic and Essential. So there's been a bit of migration on the dApp side. Most of them still are on Ethereum. Some of them are on both chains. Now, this is the weird part, or the interesting element, which is here, the queen, the big player here on Ethereum. Now, what is the Uniswap going to do? There's rumors that it's going to be going into XDAI. And if it goes into XDAI, it basically kind of makes Ethereum sort of obsolete, in the sense that it's like no really need for Ethereum after that, because the gas fees will be paid in DAI. So DAI will become kind of like more of the payment currency as more projects are migrating to XDAI. So if XDAI or Matic is going to become the more prominent chain, if Uniswap is deciding to go there instead of their own layer 2, this is going to be have an inherently effect on the value of Ethereum, because you need Ethereum to swap under Uniswap, but once everybody moves into layer 2, if they move, not everybody is moving, by the way, because they're too lazy or whatever other reason they have. So you have this conundrum here where all the power play moves are basically in the hands of Uniswap. So it depends on what they're exactly doing here, what is going to be their moving. It's going to be like a checkmate move here, so to speak. And the miners or the consensus have really no power over Uniswap, whatever they're going to be staying or not. They can obviously, send them some money or something. But ultimately, this move made by Uniswap is going to be having a tremendous impact on the Ethereum. And one way or another, this is going to be just decreasing the demand for Ethereum, because you don't need it. They're not going to be using Ethereum as a gas coin in the layer 2. If they're going to be doing their own sidechain, they're probably going to be using Uni as the currency to pay the fees. And also the problem is Uniswap might have, like, maybe it's next year when they're going to be coming with their layer 2 solution. So there's a lot of problems here fundamentally, and it goes back into that Dreamcast analogy where, okay, are people going to be waiting this long? And are they just going to be going for somewhere else? Crypto is fast moving industry, and I don't think people are going to be, okay with the fees, and they're not going to be waiting for a year or more for those patches to come in to make Ethereum compatible. And now everybody is building these bridges from Ethereum into their own chains. They're going to steal all those dApps, tokens, and customers. It's going to be very easy, especially doing this gas fee thing. This could be even almost viewed as a bit of a fifth pillar coup type of situation, that there are players like trying to destroy Ethereum from inside for keeping the gas fees very high and making everybody migrate. It's a perfect ban, by the way. And some of these chains which I think are going to be doing well, obviously BNB has been the most prominent. And idea of BNB taking over Ethereum is not out of question. It's not out of question anymore. It's a lot more scalable, even with the ETH 2.0. It is scalable compared to that. And it doesn't actually need layer 2 solutions. I mean, yes, I don't like the idea of paying 20 cents for a transaction. I mean, that's being the high ceiling. But in the end of the day, it's still better than Ethereum. It's going to be more affordable. Cardano, 250 TPS. It's going to be taking a lot of time for Cardano to become a lot more affordable. But, I mean, in March 1st, Mari update is coming. That means that you can do NFTs. You can do tokens on Cardano. And I think the bridging might be also coming in that patch, or it's later with Goguen. So Cardano is ready to come into the space. Polkadot is also releasing smart contracts for the parachains in Q4 of this year. It's a bit late also for Polkadot, in my opinion. Stellar has been getting USDC on their chain. Solana is truly a dark horse, and I wish I had just looked more into it. I just tried it yesterday, and they have so affordable transfer, perhaps the cheapest that I've seen, by the way. Cosmos did Stargate update, huge. Huobi token is likely going to be the next Binance chain. They have a very similar type of system going on, and they've been growing a lot. A lot of YouTubers haven't talked about Huobi, but it's basically the Binance Smart Chain, but Huobi's brand, basically. And some couple of small differences. Avalanche sadly got hacked, a lot of momentum lost there. Algorand, not a lot of dApps going on as of right now. Elrond, another strong one. Waves has the, what's it called? I mean, they have that gravity thing going on, which is like interoperability with a lot of chains, including Solana, for instance. Near Protocol is another one, Wildcard and Header Hashgraph. So these are going to be the chains which are going to be taking a lot of that customer base from Ethereum, and Binance has been the one that's been taking it most. Cardano is going to be absorbing a lot of that too. And that's going to be, some people are saying Ethereum will go to 20K or 10K. If this goes on, I don't think so. I don't think so. There's a lot of really good reasons for it to go to 20K. It's going to be artificial bump if it's going to be happening. The ecosystem, everybody's just running out from it at this point. Everybody's migrating into their own chains or trading blockchains or going to layer 2. And there's going to be less need for Ethereum because of that. So what can I tell you guys? I mean, it doesn't seem like making a lot of sense. Even when they're going to be doing that update of burning the fees onto transactions. That's not going to have an effect on the gas fees though. So yeah, there's for that. Thanks for watching. I will be seeing you guys on the next video. Gonna be leaving some donations links in case you want to send your Ethereum. As you know, it's gonna be maybe going quite down in the upcoming weeks, so to speak. But yeah, thanks for watching. See you soon.